Very well. Let this abomination unto the Lord begin.
Hi, everybody. This is James from the Planet Express Delivery Podcast. Just want to take a minute at the top here to let you guys know what is going on with this week's episode. If you've been following the podcast for a while, you know that we have been making our way through the Futurama direct-to-video movies for the past couple of months. And that has just been killing us. So we wanted to take a little bit of a break and just get back to a quick half-hour episode that we haven't done before without really getting ahead of ourselves. So we decided to do the crossover spin-off Simpsorama with The Simpsons, of course. We go over a little in the episode. I think that this was released the year after Futurama finally went off the air. So as far as we're concerned, it's not really canon. We're cool with doing it right now. And it's nice to get a little bit of a break in the middle of all of these. Joining us for this episode is friend of the show, Alyse Richmond. So shout out to her. Please find her on Twitter and wherever else online. Anyway, thank you all for listening and enjoy the podcast.
And this is really good. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh god. So we start the podcast on throat singing.
Yeah, exactly. We could have gone a little longer if it hadn't started before you guys. That's the thing. So
those Mongolians, though,
yeah,
they've really got that throat singing down.
It's good. Well, it's kind of good if you like throat singing. I'm not particularly.
And who doesn't?
Well, of course, you guys are.
All my favorite bands, you know.
The Throat Singers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's their name. The Throat Singers.
The Throat Singer. It's just the one band that still does it.
Yeah, exactly.
They've really cornered the market.
Here we are, guys.
Here we are.
No, another Saturday. We're back. Planet Express Delivery Podcast. This is Dave.
Hey, this is James.
This is Suds.
And Alyse.
Our guest.
Yes.
Who Suds didn't want on for some reason.
Yeah, he really did not want on.
I feel like speak when spoken to sort of a deal is what we've got going on here.
That's what's going on here.
We're going to have a very long conversation after this. Very, very long conversation.
Yeah. Welcome to Feminism, the podcast.
Well, this is a special podcast. This is, we're doing the Futurama Simpsons crossover.
Simpsonarama.
Yes.
That's not clunky at all.
Yeah.
Simpsorama.
Also, very clever. I mean, boy, how many people did it take to come up with that sitting around the table?
At least 8 writers.
Probably, Groening, David X. Cohen.
Well, I was watching the credits when they open up, and it is like the Futurama, like J. Stewart Burns, who actually writes for both shows, co-executive produced it. But yeah, Groening and David X. Cohen, and I'm sure Ken Keeler got in there somehow.
Yeah. So, I mean, might as well just admit, we're mostly probably doing this, correct me if I'm wrong, because we do have one movie left.
We still have to do Wild Green Yonder.
But, I don't know, I'm burnt out on the movies. I love them, but they just take so fucking long to record.
Let's be very straightforward about this. We love the movies.
Of course. Yeah.
We hate doing the movies for the podcast.
I'm done with the podcast. I hate it. Are we done?
No.
They're just killing us.
Yes. You can't see us, obviously. So.
I think it was James said earlier before we were recording, he was really excited to just get back to a 20-minute episode, and I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not anything, it's just the time that it takes, because it's not like the movies are all great, and it's fun and it's funny to talk about them, but it's just fucking hour and a half to watch it with the guest, and then by the end of it, we are so fucking drunk.
Yeah.
And we did not do this for Bender's game, but was it Beast with a Billion Backs. We decided to do everything in one day.
Yeah.
And that just fucking killed us. We were so fucking hammered by the end.
Wait, that
of
was
it.
the one with Nate?
With Nate. And
I think Nate was like mad at us by the end because he was relatively sober and we were all fucking hammered.
I was mad at us. That was a terrible idea.
No comment at all.
Yeah, I had fun.
No, no way. And I am so ready to be done with the movies. Like, it's starting to get very tedious. Very tedious.
Well, and I want to talk about Rebirth, the first episode.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's
Comedy
a good one.
Central.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So this is our respite from the films. We are still going to do the last one, but we
have
need
to
to
get
take
it
a
done.
week.
Is that how you pronounce that word? Respite?
Yeah.
I always thought it was respite.
No.
Really?
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You guys are all language and...
What validation are you looking for right now?
I just want somebody to tell me
Well,
I'm right.
look it up. Pronunciation. It'll say it on YouTube to you.
I'll look it up later.
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
Well, I guess we should talk about the couch gag, because I guess now they're doing, like, Rick and Morty did the couch gag the one time. The new Simpsons are, like, all over the place with that. But for this one, I just wrote hedonism couch in my notes.
Yeah.
The couch bit went on for a minute. They were pushing it to its furthest extent, which actually made it even more funny to me. But it really did. Like, usually they're only like a couple seconds. This one went on for at least almost a minute.
Yeah, but also, if they're gonna do a Simpsons couch gag with any Futurama character, it makes complete sense that it would be hedonism.
Yeah.
And he is just being disgusting.
It's hilarious.
Well, because
I love
he
it.
is basically a shade lounge with a face and a bowl of grapes.
Yes. Always the
Couch is a couch.
Yeah.
But he's pampering Homer so much. Like, he's feeding him grapes. He's not shoveling them into his own hedonist face.
Uh-huh. Well, and, just not to get ahead, but like later we see hedonism bought again, and he's just like pulling out his own stuffing, like just throwing it about, celebrating.
What was the line that you liked so much?
Oh fuck! What? Oh,
My lips, your lips.
Apocalypse.
Lips.
Yes. Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
I'm glad they did bring him in. We do see a lot of the other Futurama characters too, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, we will talk about it because there's some that I wish that we could have seen a little bit more of.
Yeah.
It would have had a bigger impact.
But my question is, was this was aired on Fox, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so it basically
Well,
was.
I mean, this is a regular episode within the season 26 of The Simpsons. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. Now, I have a question for you guys. I don't actually know, but I think this episode came out after the official final cancellation of Futurama. Am I right?
I'm pretty sure you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Futurama was totally and completely done when they did this.
Was it season 26?
It was, yes.
Yeah, so this would have been...
I think it was 2014. From what I looked up.
Yeah,
on
I want to
Wikipedia.
say this was the year after Futurama finally got canceled for the last time.
Bit
Okay.
the bullet, basically.
This might be a dumb question, but is this part of Futurama's official canon, would you say?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I mean, obviously it's the same writers and everything, but...
here's the issue, though, that some people might take with it. I don't even know if this takes place in this. They say it takes place in the same universe, but none of the characters... Like, if you look at the Futurama characters, they look human-ish. Like, whereas Simpsons characters have that, like, jaundice color to them, and they're very, like, cartoonish.
Sure.
So I don't necessarily know if that, like... I think maybe they
Okay,
just...
but if we're saying that The Simpsons and Futurama are in the same universe, I don't know. I mean, it could make sense because it's 1,000 years in the future. They've evolved. Now they look like humans as we recognize them, and of course, there's also like aliens and shit. So,
Okay.
There's no way to say. I mean, it's 1,000 years in the future.
Well, here's this is way later in the episode, but we do see Seymour sitting on the sidewalk in the present.
Those sons of bitches.
And I wrote in my note, I just wrote Seymour and then parentheses insert crying here.
Okay, now I have a question about that scene because obviously Panucci's is in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just forget how they got. I forget how they got there because they were in the past in Simpsons universe they were in Springfield. Did they just go to New York? I don't even remember. Was it
isn't the point in Simpsons in Springfield is like anywhere USA? Like,
That's
it's
true.
Not necessarily like one place or another.
Yeah,
so are they in like a Springfield, New York that could be within like proximity of New York City? I don't know.
I think that's a very good point because I've read some about that, and I know James and Dave know a lot more about The Simpsons than I do, but I've read a little bit about what you just said with, like, people try to figure out, like, which Springfield actually is it, and there's, like, clues, but does anyone know actually where Springfield is?
I don't think so.
No, it's
Okay.
kind of non-specific, but they do in season 9, I think, of The Simpsons. It's Homer versus the city of New York.
Okay.
And so they do go. So Springfield can't be that far from New York. If they just
Okay. But, okay, so I am drunk right now, so...
Good work.
Does anybody remember how the scene transition from being in Springfield, the normal Simpsons Springfield, how do we get to the point that we see Panucci's in New York? Because I don't remember.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they use Springfield. There's a Springfield, Illinois. There's a Springfield, Missouri. That's my extent of the Springfield, but it's not... Is it supposed to be, like... I don't know. Like, it's supposed to be a universal Springfield. So if there's a Springfield, New York, aren't they there? Even though it's supposed to be like they're living in the same place, but when you're watching it, it's supposed to be a universal Springfield.
Yeah, it could be.
There's probably a Springfield, New York.
I'm sure that there is. Yeah.
There is a Springfield, Massachusetts.
So wait, is the Springfield that we see regularly in The Simpsons some sort of like... This isn't the right term, but like... multiversal.
I was going to say interdimensional.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Like it is. So Springfield in The Simpsons is every Springfield.
Basically,
Yeah.
you can put
Okay.
it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, see, but as you guys were talking about, I'm thinking about, they don't even say that they just...
Oh, now this. Okay, so I just wanted to like point out to Alyse that like look how comfy Dave is all of a sudden, and then immediately my cat jumps on his lap again. Sat on your lap the whole time we watched the episode.
Mm-hmm.
If this'll,
Very
I don't know if
fond
this is
of
going to
this.
confuse the argument more, but I remember from the Simpsons movie when they actually leave. Marge makes a comment like, "Look, you can see from up here." You can see the 4 states that border Springfield. There's Maine, Oregon, Arizona, and Kentucky.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So they know and they're playing with it. Like they're fucking with you at that point. Okay.
Well, they never say they're going to New York in this episode. We
fucking see Panucci's. I mean...
Yeah, but
And we know where Panucci's is.
I think that's just a sight gag. I really do. I think it is. They're just walking down the street and they're like, you know what? People who love Futurama will be like, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the Futurama writers are just love inflicting pain. So they want to bring Seymour back in.
But also, like, they walk right by. Apparently, the dog is only waiting for Fry for all of that time.
Yes.
They're right there, and he doesn't, like, pick up a
Oh,
scent
shit.
or recognize it
That's a
at
good
all.
point. I hadn't thought about that.
Like, that's sort of weird, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They just had to get it in there. And it's like, I thought you were watching a fun Simpsons Futurama crossover. Here's the sad dog.
Okay, and also, like, if Panucci's was so close by, why didn't Fry, like, go be like, I'm gonna see if my dog is, like, alive?
Yeah.
He just walks right by it.
Well, Fry always does return to the 2000s, so that is a good question.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've jumped that
But,
ahead,
okay, but if we go back
yeah, I was
to
gonna
one
say.
of the movies, Fry actually, in an alternate timeline, does continue to live with Seymour
Yeah.
as Lars.
Plus, the end of Jurassic Park is him like accepting that Seymour moved on. He doesn't actually see. Future Fry doesn't see what happens to Seymour. And he's
we
waiting
get
there.
closure in the movie.
Yeah.
More or less.
Well, yeah, because Lars lives. Well, Fry fuck Lars, by the way, but
Oh God.
Fry continues to live
Talk
with.
some sense into this guy.
We're
Fry
not
can-
talking about this again.
I just want him to know.
Go on.
No, well, I mean, Fry, goes back and he actually continues to live in the year 2000, and he does live with Seymour eventually.
Yeah.
For many years. That's it, but I hate Lars.
Yeah.
I hate Lars. I hate him so much.
That's pretty good. So, you guys, what do they put into the time capsule at the beginning? Like the whole.
God, yeah. Well, that sort of is like the catalyst for the entire episode.
Yeah, I guess since we didn't do a synopsis, we just say the inciting incident for the crossover is the Springfield Elementary School has put a time capsule into some nuclear waste, and it is created.
Yes.
Originally, it's Bongo from the Life in Hell, the original Matt Groening comic. I can't fucking remember. I think it's Life in Hell.
Okay.
Yeah, it's originally the rabbit, and then they morph into Bart Spawn.
Didn't Bongo just have one stop, like 1 ear? Or is that just...
I don't know.
I thought you guys liked The Simpsons.
I haven't watched The Simpsons in like 10 years, so I've missed out on a very large...
Those shows have very little... one is not a show. It's it has nothing to do with the other.
Oh, okay. Well, what does Milhouse put into the time capsule?
His lucky rabbit's foot.
Oh, that's right. And then...
okay, because it ends up being rabbits, but at the same time...
Oh, does that splice?
If it has to do with DNA, though, wouldn't it be Milhouse's DNA? Because they touched everything that went in there. Bart sneezes into the sandwich, but like everybody else touched what eventually like had gone into the time capsule, so why is it Bart? Why is it not anybody else?
Well, because Bart sneezes into the...
Right, but everybody else touched the things that went in there, so a sneeze is more, like, genetically potent than somebody's hand touching something.
Well, that's why he is the most, like, that is why those eventually morph into that Gremlin-type character. And it's definitely a shout-out to the Gremlins. They also do a shout-out to Alien. Like, it turns into
with the egg.
Yeah.
Where before the Bart creature comes out.
Yeah.
That's Alien.
I think they're just... you do have a point, because he has touched it, but it was a rabbit's foot, so maybe that's the overpowering genetics there.
Yeah.
I mean, Milhouse is pretty lame, so... I don't know how strong his genetics are.
Yeah, when he throws the rabbit's foot in and immediately his pants fall down.
Exactly, and then his nose gets like stuck in the... Yeah.
There's a few other things. God, what's his name? The bully.
Nelson,
thank you.
Oh, he puts in a picture of his dad who is still at large. But the picture is his dad sticking up a convenience store.
So it's the... They didn't put a lot in there, though.
Oh, but wait, who puts in... Who wants to put in an image of the current exact situation? They put in a picture of...
No, it's classroom door surveillance tape.
Yeah. Skinner puts it in or something. Yeah.
But this has a lot of that very... I hate to say it, not trying to offend any Simpsons fans, very typical Simpsons humor. We see all the characters doing their shtick. Even when we get out to where they're burying the time capsule, Mr. Burns sees the ooze come up through the ground, and he's just like, that could be anyone's ooze. Like, You see a body float up through the ooze.
Yeah, why is Mr. Burns standing there amongst the rabble just at the...
And he almost does, like, his little hand thing, but then he kind of doesn't. Or does he actually do it? Like, it seems like he pulled his hands up and, like, wanted to sort of, like, that was going to be him, like, taking responsibility for what had occurred.
Isn't that when the EPA agent skeleton, like, bubbles up to the top? That's he actually does. Yeah.
Excellent, Smithers. But I think they have him... Well, later on, jump ahead a little, just to jump back later.
Just to jump forward again,
later.
Anyway.
I had to think about that for a second.
And then to jump sideways, just to mix it up.
Just to jump to the left, and a step to the right, right?
Oh.
I know it was bad, but you left it open, so I had to, you know...
I was actually thinking electric slide, but you know.
Oh no!
I thought we were doing the time warp again.
Yeah.
Let's do the time warp again.
Oh, I know what music I'm editing into now.
It's just a jump to the left. I love that movie. No, we see Zoidberg later. For like a brief second, and he even calls it. He's like, "Oh, I guess this is everybody's time to talk." That's all I have to say. And then they just clip away back to the professor.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to get all the main Simpsons / Futurama cast in at least a little bit.
Yeah, well, they know that like Futurama viewers are going to be pissed if they don't see Zoidberg and Scruffy in this. And so, but it's just, like we don't have anything for Zoidberg to actually do. We've got to cram all of this into like 23 minutes. So let's just have him. We have Billy West here already. Let's just have him say something.
Did we see Amy?
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
What does Amy do?
Nothing.
She makes a phone, an ass call. That's what I'm calling it because the phone calls keep coming through Bender's ass.
A butt dial.
Yeah, butt dial. Butt hologram. What can we do with that?
Oh, I like butt dial.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Butt dial.
Well, wait. So did you guys say that, like, the whole thing that's going on right now is that Bender is sent back in time to kill Homer Simpson because his DNA is in these... Well, that's what they think. It's Homer's DNA.
First, how they introduce Bender is just one of my favorites.
It's hilarious. Yeah. He just like crashes into the Simpsons yard. Yeah.
But Lisa's explanation for it, what did she say? Something about space junk falling from the sky?
Yes, yeah.
Remember when this country didn't suck because I don't?
Yeah, exactly.
It's more apt than ever now.
It is, yeah.
Well, you said, what year was this again?
I think it was 2014.
All right, so they were not aware of the shitstorm that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait until we can time travel. We need to start warning people.
Well, as they say, or the professor says in this episode, time travel is impossible.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it. As soon as Lisa asked him...
Well, does he say time travel or the time machine specifically?
Oh.
Like, he makes it seem like
Actually,
it's different...
I think you're right.
Yeah.
He does say something more specific than just
because
time
they're
travel.
always through, like, some sort of portal, but,
Yeah.
like, the machine aspect is what he's like, that would never happen.
Yeah.
But he should know better. He made a time machine that could go forward in time. All the way around. Because time is this circle. He made a time machine. No.
And
no.
Just to bring it up again, but the Futurama characters that we see in this episode are not the same ones that we started with in the beginning of the series because of the forward time travel machine. They've gone through 3 different universes, and guess what? Leela died waiting for Fry when he was supposed to meet her at the for their date at the what's that underground cave restaurant?
Tavern on the Green.
Tavern on the Green, yes, and they're all dead. They're all dead.
Well, it's still the original.
It's not
Fry, Professor, and Bender.
Oh, well, that you're right about because they do go back in time in the late Philip J. Fry and they crush their old selves.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of them.
Technically the same Leela, though.
No, she grew old and died without Fry.
The timeline restarts. So
You don't
therefore, the same.
No,
Leela.
you don't understand. The universe.
It's the same.
The universe ended, and then the Big Bang happened again, and
Just
it started.
like Mars is
different.
Fry.
They're different organisms.
James,
the universe didn't reset. The universe grew again and became the same.
No.
Oh my god!
No, he's not wrong. It's just this is a stupid thing to get hung up on.
I can't wait until we get to that fucking episode so I can just tear you apart.
Same people.
They are not the same people.
They have the same memories.
No, they don't have the same memories. So you're saying that once this once this universe ends and just like miraculously
I'm not talking
it starts
about
again.
This
universe. Yes, this is what we were talking about.
I'm talking about the Futurama universe.
No, because it's science. This universe ends and then it just happens.
Because,
just happens that it starts the same way and then it continues to grow and then there's another you in the next iteration. It's not the same you.
It's not intrinsic evidence. They're different.
It's just science. So you're saying
science.
So you're saying that after this universe dies and the next one starts and there's another David Boner fair that it's that it's you?
Are we getting
insulting?
It's
not you.
Is that what we're doing? We're insulting now.
Cool name.
Yeah. Cool name, dude.
It's not the same you. It's the same maybe molecular composition, but it's not the same you.
When Fry meets back up with Leela, now that we've jumped to this episode for like a second.
Okay.
When Fry meets up back with Leela.
Yeah. It's a different Leela.
Doesn't she remember everything that had happened?
Yeah,
she
because
says, you're on time.
Because because the universe recreated itself and started from scratch. Yes, so she has the same memories, but it's not the same Leela from the prior universe.
Is arguing semantics.
No, I don't. No, yeah,
You're like, that's not the Leela. It's the same fucking person.
It's not. I don't think you understand.
I get what you're trying to make an argument out of nothing. You have nothing.
No, this is
good day, sir. You get nothing.
James,
you lose.
James, will you just reiterate your point before where you said that I'm right, but that it doesn't matter that I'm.
I'm going to take us in a different direction because technically none of them, now that I'm thinking about this, none of them are the originals except for the professor.
Thank you.
Because in Rebirth, they all die and they're just skeletons with heads. And they're all clones of themselves to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So none of them are the original ones starting out. And you're not wrong about it being a different Leela. My point is, who the fuck cares?
Oh, I care. I care because Leela grew old and fucking died in the Prime universe.
By him saying that, he's agreeing with me about you arguing semantics. Therefore, I win.
You just called yourself he. Were you just...
No, he was talking about...
I was talking about... No, I was talking about him.
I thought you were referencing
So I
win.
As always.
I don't care.
I don't think there's any winner in this argument.
Yeah.
We're all losers. We're all losers for doing this podcast. We're all losers for having this conversation.
Yeah.
No. Don't say horrible things about me. No, you guys can say that shit about yourself.
No. Hey. The simple fact of having that conversation means none of us are at peak life right now.
What else are we supposed to be talking about on this podcast? Can you explain that to me?
The government.
If you want to talk about the government, we will do another podcast about the government. But I will need a lot of whiskey and probably a shit ton of other drugs.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
just
drugs.
Bring it in here and throw it at my head.
Like the drug part would just keep me out of the conversation. I could just sit here and listen to people banter on. Anyways.
We got so far off track, I don't even know what we were talking about.
No, we were initially... Oh, God. No,
was the last thing with, like, the rabbit aspect?
Yeah, the bongo. Yeah, the genetics.
Okay.
Yeah, the rabbit, and then Bender shows up.
Yeah.
And it's treated like a home invasion.
Well, treated like a home invasion, then it turns into the Fry and Bender meeting moment again, because Homer's like, no, I want you to be my friend.
Oh yeah,
And
Homer and Bender immediately bond and go to Moe's.
Yes.
Because of course, robot from the future. I mean, I would bring Bender to Shady's.
I would bring Bender to Shady's.
Yeah.
Scott would not be happy.
Nah.
But he wouldn't know because he would just extend his arm and put it into the cash register and make all the noise, and then you wouldn't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's making money. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about that shit. Shannon, he's just like, is this the robot from your nerd show?
No, Shannon would be like, hey, what happened to Suds? Looks like you lost some hair.
Did I just hear my fucking name and
No.
everyone laughing?
No, you're good, man.
No.
No worries.
Right.
You're looking metally today.
Yeah.
Real metally.
You need to slick back your antenna, I mean your hair. Terrible. Anyways, well, we're at the part with Mo. We were talking about this earlier.
Oh, Blade Rummer.
Is it Rummer?
I thought it was Rummer.
I thought it was Rummy.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we still have the episode we could check.
Let's
but
not.
We're not going to do
Let's
that.
not say we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, let's take a break. Let's check. And we're back, and it's Blade Rummer, everyone.
Okay, well, that's what I said.
Yeah, me too.
You're both nuts.
Oh, jeez.
They even point out in this episode that Homer and Bender look very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa makes a very good comment about how they were just kind of being lazy when they
And
created.
then they also redo the drawing almost.
It's
So basically it's Homer with
An
the little
antenna.
strands instead of the antenna, and then the thing out around his mouth, and that's the extent of it.
It's a really funny dig
Yeah.
at the cartoonists. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel like when they do that, and then they did it later with something else, and I can't remember what it was, but it's almost like an insecurity to announce what you're doing, because how well are you really doing it if you have to be like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of crossover or anybody that references something else sort of does that when they don't feel super confident about it.
Yeah.
Which anyone
announce-
who's watched The
just
Simpsons or
announce it,
Futurama, you're aware. I don't think that needs to be announced necessarily, but
Well, it's probably Matt Groening or David X. Cohen who are super insecure, but
after what? This is the fucking 26th season of The Simpsons. You should be able to do what you want. Not have to announce it, right? I mean, there's not.
well, the Sassy Robot Show.
It's not
kept
going to
getting
make or break
canceled,
your
so.
career at that point. You should just do what you want.
Yeah.
And people that are watching it in the 26th season, they know. I don't know.
The Simpsons'
They
30th
do,
season
buddy.
should just be an animated middle finger.
We're still here, but fuck you.
Yeah. For 28 episodes, it's just the same fucking thing. But I think we've probably brought this up on the podcast before. Homer and Bender do share certain personality traits. And Bender is obviously, he's more of the jerk-ass Homer. We don't see compassionate Homer in him too much, but definitely the boozing and being an asshole and being kind of dumb but also kind of mean about it too.
I want to say Bender's smarter than Homer. Homer's he is an idiot in general, whereas Bender has a plan basically all the time.
He has his moments.
Booze, steal, sex, steal, booze.
Well, that's the thing. Every once in a while, Homer's like, "Oh, I care about this."
Yeah.
And then you get that aspect, but I don't think.
Well,
that's
I
necessarily
for me,
that way.
Homer is. They took that with most TV sitcoms. You have the dad who's very, I don't know. He's a combination of several characters. There's Archie Bunker in there, any kind of like sitcom dad, except for they dumbed him down to the point where he's a satire of all sitcom dads. What the hell? Cats coming out of nowhere.
They're coming through the heating vents.
They're all over the place. Which he is funny, but he is very sweet as well. Like, in general, he may be dumb and kind of self-involved, but he has his moments. Whereas Bender, you really have to poke the bear to get some kind of heart-touching moment out of him.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true because we see Bender take a liking to Maggie in this episode. He's like carrying her around. He converts into essentially a baby carriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's still using her as we're gonna go gamble. Like,
yeah.
Like just a reason.
Yeah, it's an abusive sort of use.
Is it abusive?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was jealous. Remember, he was jealous of the dog. Which
he hated the dog.
So he wanted to be the only thing that was like, Fry's sort of pet in a way.
Yeah.
And he did not like the dog.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and he went so far in that episode as to get his own robot dog to try to make Fry jealous.
Was it Robo Puppy? Is that the
maybe? Yeah.
What does he call? Is it Little Meatbag?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like it's just you and me.
And he actually does take care of Maggie, which is kind of sweet.
He does, yeah.
No, Bender does have his moments but Homer is definitely. I always am I feel warm-hearted when I see Homer. Like, whereas with Bender, I'm just like, oh yeah, he's hilarious and funny, but I wouldn't expect too much from him.
You feel warm-hearted when you see Homer, the man who, when presented with a photo of his wife, doesn't recognize her. Who's that?
Well, what do you want him to do? He has a crayon up his nose because we all remember that episode.
Yeah.
You realize that's why he's so stupid. He has the crayon up his nose. He takes it out, and then he's smart, but kind of ruins his life, and then it goes right back up there. What do you want? Do you want him to be compassionate, or do you want him to be smart and leave all the people that he cares about?
Alyse just shut you down, motherfucker. Drop the mic.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I do love. You know what? I'm done.
No,
let's just leave it at that. She's right.
That was perfect.
We're good.
That was perfect.
We're good. We're done with the Homer.
Well, speaking of Homer, no, it's actually the jerk-ass aspect of Homer. He uses Bart as bait to get Bender to come out of the basement.
God, we're 5 minutes into the episode right now, only.
Oh, we're jumping around. We're getting old.
Okay. Yeah, but so he what does he say? You have to go to the. Or what does he say?
Well, first they try to push the...
Who knows?
What does he say?
Somebody save me. I don't know what I'm saying.
I gotta lead up to it. First they try to push the dog. We should send the dog.
Yeah, and that was hilarious. Sending Sandra's little helper
and
down
they
there.
try to get Bart to go down. Bart doesn't think it's
Bart doesn't say that he bites
They
his
both
arm.
bite Homer,
Yes.
the dog and them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he does make a very... he says something about we're gonna need something to draw him out, bait. I mean, Bart.
Yes,
something
that's
to
right.
that effect.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, such a complicated line that I couldn't recall.
Well, no, that's not the exact line. I just remember the bait Bart part.
Yeah,
because
okay.
But he hangs him upside down in the basement.
No,
and it just says "free boy" or "free meat boy" or
Now,
something.
here's a question that I have for you. In order for Homer to have constructed this very elaborate rope situation going down through the basement, wrapping around, through the stairs, through many pipes down there, Homer was in the basement to have constructed this. Mm-hmm. But then, so he does all this rope situation, gets Bart hanging, but then retreats back up to the top of the stairs.
Would you do the same?
No, because I'm a fucking man. Why? Wait, why is everyone laughing?
Alyse laughed a little too genuinely at that.
you. With
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you were serious. Oh, let me laugh even harder.
But this is where we actually meet.
But was not Homer down there? Like, it seems like a little bit of a weird situation.
He could have just sent Bart to, like, hey, or string this up.
How would Bart have strung himself up that elaborately?
I mean, he really just has to loop it over the thing, and then Homer can just pull it taut from the top.
That's true. Although I
Okay,
feel like
that's
it was
true,
a
that's
little too complicated of a loop.
I don't think that
through
Bart would
under-
just, like, allow that to happen, though. Would he?
Well, he does bite Homer.
Alyse, would Bart
Would he?
let that happen?
Well, I think the real question is, would Lisa let that happen? Because she's the smartest one in the family, presumably,
She's
right?
the
So, like, why is
smartest
she
one
not more involved?
on the show?
Yeah.
Just that whole universe. And that even comes up later in this show. They make a joke about Lisa, if you guys don't remember. Oh, I just jumped to it. It's when the whole gang appears in Springfield. What's his name? The professor of The Simpsons? Frank.
Boygan.
Yeah, Boygan.
Fight with the characters who make noises unnecessarily.
The unnecessary noises.
Yeah.
He says something to the professor to the effect of, oh, we're both men of science. Maybe we can figure things out. And the professor's like, oh, yes, but you do realize I think you're an idiot. And then he turns and he's like, and the annoying girl, she might be some help.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Right there, Lisa is definitely the every person character, the best way to put it. Like, she's the one, the voice of reason for the most part in all Simpsons episodes. Even though no one listens to her because it wouldn't be funny if you listened to Lisa.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, going along with the comparisons, the Professor Farnsworth and Professor Frink share a lot of the same characteristics. I noticed it in watching this. They have the same fucking, like, glasses that are basically microscopes.
Yeah.
Oh no, who else would you say Simpsons Futurama characters that are very similar?
What do they draw? They draw Leela and Marge kind of
They
together.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
They sort of showcase that a little
Or what is the back and forth of Marge's don't mention the eye, don't mention the eye.
The hair and the eye.
Yeah, don't mention the hair,
Yeah.
don't mention the hair.
It's very nice to be here. I mean,
I'm glad to meet you. It's very nice to be here.
just like, oh. Although, once you mention that, James, now that I'm thinking about it, they sent Bender, Fry, and who else was with them? It was Homer, Bender, Fry, and someone else out together. So I feel like that's that combination, like the 3 Futurama characters and the 1 Simpson character, like those 3 characters combined are Homer. And Homer is those 3 characters. Like, they're like, hey, let's split his personality. Come on. Wait, you gonna come down? I'm sorry. Brief break.
Cat
Gotta let
break.
the cat do his thing. No? You taking your time?
Oh, he's going. He's
All
going.
right.
Isn't it when Homer is
Figure it out
explaining freemium mobile games
Yes.
to Futurama characters?
Yes. But I can't remember who the third
Which?
character is.
Shout out to Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow, which I've been playing obsessively.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was playing it the other night. We were hanging out.
Yeah, I've been wanting to check it out.
Yeah. I
need to
have no
figure out that
space left on my phone.
Excuse me. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the main cast is split up in that way because obviously you can't. For Futurama, they needed a bunch of characters, so the best way to do it.
So wait, let's break it down real quick. Instead of just like thinking abstractly, I mean, like, who's the Bart of Futurama? It's kind of Fry.
Kind of Fry.
In a way.
Maybe Qbert.
Yeah, I want to say
Sure.
yes
Okay.
and no. Maybe Qbert is the aspects of Bart that no one actually likes. Like the fact that he's been a 12-year-old for, I don't know.
Actually, I kind of think maybe Milhouse is more of a
Well, I was thinking Hubert was more of the guy, we were just talking about it, in The Simpsons, who's like the bully.
Nelson?
The bully. Yeah,
Oh, Nelson.
a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can see
because
that too.
he kind of picks on the professor, even though that's his like great-great-grandfather or whatever the fuck he is, but like he's kind of like also, shitty in comparison.
Yeah.
But not like
he picks
in a
on
bullying way.
But kind of what Dave was saying is that there are these connections or whatever, but like it is maybe like a combination of various characters going both directions.
I would say the only ones that you couldn't combine with any characters from The Simpsons: Amy, Zoidberg, Scruffy, which we only see very. Is there
a Hermes?
Hermes is not in this episode
yes, he
at
is.
all.
Yeah,
he is.
Well, for a hot second.
Yeah, because
he's
they
just like cheering. For
but we don't hear Phil Lamar, the voice actor. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming they couldn't get him. It is Phil Lamar.
Yeah.
Wait, Hermes doesn't speak?
Yeah, he does.
I thought he did.
Because the Barts are stealing office supplies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then Bender makes a joke and he drops all the office supplies out of his chest.
So yeah, those characters that don't travel back. It could also be the fact that Fry, Leela, Bender, and the Professor are the characters everyone loves to see. Like, those are the ones we were introduced to in the first episode. They will always be the iconic. They're the ones you see on the shirts normally or wherever you see them. So it was just easier to send them back and just have them do everything.
Well, we already have so many. We have the entire Simpsons family. We have the original core of the future. We already have so many characters in frame. There's no point in sending all of them back because it's, we only have 23 minutes to get this whole story done. And we remark on it that this ends kind of abruptly.
It really does. I really think, we're doing the fucking movies right now. Well, guess what? This should have been a Simpsons broadcast movie. They should have done 3 episodes. They could have fleshed it out.
Well, it just seemed like they were going to go into a second episode.
I fully agree. Yep.
And do you think that could have, been a plan and then they just didn't do it? Because it seemed, it wasn't it wasn't a natural ending. It kind of seemed like it might. It
seems weird that they wouldn't have planned for that the way that it ended.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was the case and they didn't, but.
Well, the ending was it was Homer singing the Futurama. Okay, so you're right. They probably wanted to do a Futurama episode. The only problem is Futurama is technically owned by Comcast now, or not Comcast, Comedy Central. You know what? I shouldn't even say that. They just bought the rights, I think.
I was just going to say. I wonder where the rights currently lie.
It's still 20th Century Fox. That being said, too, Marvel and Disney are buying 20th Century Fox, so we might get more Futurama.
One can hope.
I could only hope.
I don't know. Fox is pretty notorious with passing on or canceling really good shows.
True.
So I don't know that.
Oh, dude. Come on. You're going to hurt yourself. It's too bad.
No, I'm staying over here now.
Chop. With the getting in the lap and whatnot.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
Well, now he skits out. He's like, I don't know how that worked out. Yeah, they are notorious with that. But Futurama was brought back 3 times? 2 times.
2 times.
Yeah, 2 times. Are you trying to see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, we're if you want to take a quick ad break.
Let's take an ad break.
An ad break!
Oh, I like that impression. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
The monster fuck.
It's the monster fuck. It's a graveyard
It was
fuck.
a graveyard fuck.
But it just sounds weird. How many Wiggums?
How many Wiggums?
Wiggums. Has everyone talked about everything they want to talk about in the episode? Is there anything else? We jumped around, obviously, a lot, which I actually do like that we're doing that now, too, because we are talking about the episode. But...
Are we?
Yes.
Did you say that we're talking about the episode?
We're talking about the episode.
That's everything I wrote down. If
there's any...
if that strikes anyone's memory.
Well, I will comment on how Bender gets back to the future. I love that they stuck to he has to go the long way around.
Yeah.
He basically turns himself off.
Yeah.
He just sets a timer for 1,000 years. Then they do stick to that too. So it's 2014 or whatever this. It was 2014, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So they are sticking to a timeline. Although that is my main issue with The Simpsons, I will bring that up, is that the children never grow up. So we're not seeing really any different... They're all, Lisa and Bart are still their respective ages when they started. I feel like they could do better and or more stories if they grew up. Though, in a certain Simpson episodes, I'm not sure if it's the Treehouse of Horrors, but sometimes they will flash to the future, where like in one, Bart is he's a judge. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah, that's an earlier episode. That's the Itchy and Scratchy movie.
Oh, okay.
When Homer forbids him from seeing the Itchy and Scratchy movie, and as a result, he grows up to be a Supreme Court justice.
Yes, and Lisa ends up being like I don't know if she's a ne'er-do-well in that episode or something. She's not what you would think Lisa would be in the future. Like her and Bart have a.
She's not in the future in that episode.
Yes, she is. Or Maggie.
No, the only flash in that one specifically, the only flash to the future is Homer and Bart. Bart in his judge's robes outside of the.
That's right.
Movie theater.
But they do have in another episode. They do have a flash to the future where Maggie and Lisa are in it. They keep stopping Maggie from talking.
Yeah.
So we never hear Maggie talk. I don't think you will ever. No, that's why you do hear Maggie talk in one episode. Nobody else hears it. The viewers hear it.
Yeah.
And that's it. She says, "Daddy."
That's Elizabeth Taylor doing the voice.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some. It's like an unwritten rule with the Simpsons showrunners that only Academy Award-winning actors can do Maggie's voice. So they got Liz Taylor to do that, and Maggie makes 3 when she just says, "Daddy," and you fucking cry for days.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like the sweetest moment ever. And that's, once again, why I love Homer as a father, sitcom father figure.
But they also, in one of you brought up the Treehouse of Horrors earlier, and there's the one where Maggie talks, and it's James Earl Jones's voice.
That's good. I do like that. Is James Earl Jones is still alive, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Oh,
God.
we had brought this up before we started recording, but
Are we we're going into this?
Well, now I mentioned, when I check the news now, I check it like I'm disarming a bomb. Because I don't know, as soon as I click the link to the New York Times or whatever, I have no idea what's going to pop up. And but I don't know when this episode's going to come out, so this is probably old news, but there was something, Harrison Ford was trending on Twitter recently, and my mind immediately went to the worst possible places. I'm just oh God, why? He's either dead or he fucking raped somebody. Why? And then I actually checked it, and no, he fucking saved a woman from a car wreck somewhere in Los Angeles. I'm just oh my God. You're good at things. There are good people, and it's Harrison Ford.
Still a curmudgeon, but will pull you out of your car if it's on fire. Back to what we were saying about, I guess we never say, I swear we've seen Lisa in the future. I swear there's an episode where we see Lisa.
There's a few, there's one where she becomes the president. There's a really recent one. I think it was this, not the current season, but last year's season of The Simpsons. It's an episode called Barthood.
Yeah, see, I'm not familiar with anything recent, so.
It's like, if you know that movie Boyhood with Ethan Hawke,
Oh, yeah,
and they
where-
took like whatever it was, like 12 years to make it or something. But yeah, it does the same thing where it follows like the kids, growing up over time. And it's actually a pretty sweet episode. If you haven't seen it, I can actually recommend. I don't watch The Simpsons regularly anymore. I don't watch the new seasons regularly. I still watch, 3 through 12 religiously.
The Simpsons, you can pop in at any episode.
Yeah.
And not. There's no overarching story. It's all self-contained. Pretty much, so.
Yeah.
Do you think in some way, even though it's not direct, that Lisa could in some way be like a future Leela? She's not her, obviously, but like it's sort of the same intelligence level. And she kind of thinks everybody else around her is like not at her level. Like, I don't know. I think the characters could be like related in some way.
Well, if you want to say a combination of Marge and Lisa, like as the people who have definitely are the ones who are the voice of reason,
right,
for the most part.
Yeah.
Also, I see what you're saying about Lisa's personality and Leela's personality, because they technically are the smartest people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I would agree that Leela is more similar to Lisa than she is to Marge, aside from, Marge having like the weird hair and Leela has the eye, which they played up in this episode, obviously. But I see what you're saying. Like, Leela and Lisa are, I think, more similar personality-wise.
They both have their own response to the dumb shit going on around them. Marge has the grumble, and Leela has "Oh Lord," which is it's one of my favorite. Every time I hear it, I wish I had the ringtone and just said "Oh Lord." Like, I would put it to a person who I don't want to hear from a lot.
Which slag would that be?
What are you talking about? All the slags in my life are princesses and queens.
Okay.
They all need to be heard from.
Okay.
I enjoy all of their presences.
You have no one.
I knew James was going to be the voice of reason on this.
So James is your Lisa / Leela.
Yes, technically.
Yeah.
Alright.
He's just not as pretty.
Is he not?
I mean, I'm right here, Dave.
He's prettier, if anything.
Yeah.
That beard is going to be glorious.
Mm-hmm.
Glorious. You should have joined in on the no shave.
I wasn't
about
to shave it.
What's wrong with you?
I don't shave. What are you talking about? I'm the judge.
I'm the judge.
You and me are the judges.
We are the judges.
So wait, who is it? You and Nate and Sween
Yeah.
doing a beard off
Doing a beard off.
for No Shave November.
I'm waiting to see who's
Dave and I
gonna
are the judges.
drop out real quick. I think Nate's going to.
Although I wonder, Dave and I being the judges, it seems like you've got something going on over there. And I don't know. I don't understand what it is.
Oh, you mean
I could almost like surmise that you were wanting to be a part of the beard off.
No.
No, he's just planning to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Somebody told me I looked like Edgar Allan Poe the other day.
You do. Exactly.
I was like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah, the very Irish Edgar Allan Poe.
I got that, and then Don Quixote, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? A whole lot of tilting at windmill jokes. That's basically what the night consisted of.
Perfect.
Let's not get too far off subject here, though. I love talking about myself, but...
We all know.
I know you all love talking about me, too, so
Never
I just don't want to get...
That's never happened.
We really do. We can't
Thank
stop.
you, Alyse.
That's never happened.
We cannot stop.
Don't.
We have been talking about me for 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
That's longer than we've ever talked about you.
No, that's shorter than we've ever... We can keep going.
Yeah, we usually. Dave, leave the room.
No, I want to hear all the wonderful / terrible things you have to say.
What do you guys think Dave would like for Christmas? Like something cute?
An apartment, not living with his mom.
Yes, I would love that. Do you have extra room here? I can take the study, right?
No, you're in the
Put a
basement.
We've been saving the study just
For
for you.
me.
Yeah.
There is a giant basement dirt floor. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, I don't need to be help. I'm in the basement. Thank you very much.
Oh, that would be. Well, we named that after you.
Oh, what?
Assuming that you would
For
be. Assuming you would move in and we would lock you
That's
down
very
there.
nice, but I guess the closet's good. It is big enough.
You could fit a twin or a single
You
in there.
actually could. It's
You
good.
could. You could fit a single bed in there. Yeah.
Swen and I, we can hang out, keep each other warm.
I do not appreciate, by the way, Swen just like taking up shop over there. On your
Loves
lap.
me. Just happened to be like the warmest spot in the room. The cat's like, yeah, this works. Whatever.
Yeah, what is his name this week? Schwen?
It's Swen. It's
Sven.
always Swen.
Schwen.
Schwenny.
CH. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Schwen.
Yeah.
Schwen.
Okay, whatever.
James, get us back on subject.
Well, the whole reason that Bender was sent back in time, I don't know that we harped on this that much yet, but he has to kill Homer Simpson. And I love this bit that they do when it reminiscent of the Suicide Booth, I think, when he has to kill Homer, and all of a sudden all of these mechanisms of death pop out of his compartment.
Like a fire, fucking chainsaw, like knives, and the one thing that Homer is most scared of, a boxing glove.
But what is it about, like, the fact that in the future,
Mm-hmm.
they can't do anything about it? They have to go back and kill Homer?
Well, because they're...
Don't you think that's weird, though? That, like, there's nothing they can do between Homer and their
that's a good point.
present day.
Yeah.
They can't do anything about it. They have to go back.
I guess maybe that was like the furthest back that they could trace the lineage of the DNA that was in these little creatures. So they just felt like, let's go back there. Also, clearly, crossover shenanigans. They just wanted to come up with some storyline for a crossover.
They mentioned that, though. That you're bringing up, they say something to them like, "Can't you figure out another way?" And they're like, "No, this is the only way." Some random. I'm like, "All right, whatever. I guess that's good."
Yeah.
Are you gonna do this, or are we just waiting for you to?
Well, it seems like he likes James a little bit more than you now.
Oh,
So why don't you just leave him alone? Stop giving him a hard time.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna do that. Whatever.
I just want you people to leave my house.
Well, he's fucking furious. There actually are no people here.
Yeah, no, I got the whole lot of, hey, what are you doing? Hey, wait, hi, what's up? But it was more like meow, 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 meow.
Can we talk about Scruffy for a minute? Because
Sure.
we do see Scruffy.
He loses his mustache.
It's not the same man.
No. He has no mustache and he's clean.
Yeah.
What the fuck's up with that? Is the cleaning synonymous with losing the mustache?
He actually does work when he loses the mustache.
Yeah.
He actually does work when he loses his head. That's what I.
Well, he continues to work, but outside of the facility.
So he's employed by the city of New York at this point. New York.
So are we just to assume? Okay, going back a couple episodes, I know that we talked about this. It was the first movie, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Hermie gets his fucking head chopped off, but his body still continues to exist, even though it's crushed by the ship.
Yeah.
And then also his head just continues to exist outside of a jar for a long time.
Yeah.
So what? Fucking Scruffy's body is just existing.
Well, I mean, how long has Agnew's body been kicking around without a head?
Well, here's the thing that I would say about that, and I think I have a good argument. Agnew's body has...
You mean the body of Agnew.
Yes, thank you. Don't ever correct me.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic right now.
No, so the body of Agnew is headless, but he has like a collar situation that I feel like has closed off. So like, I think like he's not like his innards aren't being exposed. I think he's got a collar situation that he can continue to exist, but that's some future technology. However, they don't put that on Hermes when his head gets cut off, and they don't put it on Scruffy either. I didn't see a collar on Scruffy, so nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm not going to say anything else.
I have to think about it for a second. With the Hermes thing, his body's destroyed, but they do have a collar on him at one point when he's in the jar.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's not immediate at all. But the whole Agnew thing, that is definitely a sight gag. And it's definitely a comment on Nixon and Agnew. Just saying. I don't know if there's necessarily any funny things about it, other than Agnew being like, "Arrgh!
Oh, no, that was funny. That was good.
Are you just angry because Swen loves me?
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's alright, buddy. We're best friends now.
We have to, like, put a photo of him on, like, social media now, because everyone's just like, what's this goddamn cat that you all are so fucking distracted by?
I got some good photos of you guys as a group, and Swen was in them, so.
No, I've taken pictures of Swen before. Pretty sure he's on.
Well, when was the last time you posted something to the Shady Voices Instagram?
Oh, it's been a long time.
It seems like it was a long time ago.
I've been slacking. I've been slacking just a little bit.
Yeah.
You comfy dude? He's a blanket. Something like that. Pillow.
Yeah, I know.
Chop chop, master. You don't want it. What the hell's wrong?
Swan. Hey.
Yeah, you're having buddy.
We've thrown away, like, all pretense that we're actually doing a podcast.
No, we are at the end here. I think we've talked about basically everything.
Why is my cat laying on someone else? This is very upsetting.
We don't aggressively pet him like you do.
Well, doing it.
No.
Here's the last point that I have, and
Bart demons.
Well, they are getting all the Bart demons into Madison Cube Garden so that they can hurl it off into space.
Yes.
But as they're corralling them in, Lisa is playing a holophoner
Saxophoner.
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 A holosax.
That's better. I like it.
Oh, fuck you, Dave.
I like it.
No.
But was that... Do they make those specifically for Lisa because she can only play the sax, or is that just, or is there entire like holophonic orchestras in the future?
Oh.
Well, don't you think she's kind of a character that doesn't belong in her time? Like, she would fit better into Futurama, which is why she stands out in The Simpsons.
God, that's such a good point.
She's smarter than everyone, and she doesn't fit there. And actually, in the movie, she sort of fits into the movie better because they get into the biodome, and she likes the dude that's like outside the biodome, and like, yeah, she should be in Futurama. Really,
what happens?
Like, it's sad for her.
I just know he's like a musician and very like passionate and
like, that's all it takes. It's like there's nobody else in her time. There's just somebody else like playing an instrument outside, like between like a plexi wall of her and someplace else. Yeah, that's like really sad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's super sad.
Womp womp.
I remember that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Wait, was that your Chris Farley? Yeah. Do you
That
remember?
was a piggyback off of your Christopher.
Okay, fine.
And we see Kang and Kodos in the closing.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Well, we see
Clip.
Unda and Lur as well.
Who are
Yeah.
who are having the Johnsons over for dinner, and it's
Oh, I
Kang
thought it was
and
the
Kodos.
Joneses. Let's argue about this for a while.
Yeah, this seems like a worthwhile thing to.
I was gonna wonder if you guys were gonna go into it, but I figured James is better than that. So
Well, there is a
Don't elevate me, you
no,
asshole.
There is a weird thing there, and I don't really know what they were going for, but they were like, Lur says, the female of your species should go console her, but then they both go.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing there.
I don't know that they establish...
no, I think they are.
They do in one of the Treehouse of Horrors. I think it's Kang is talking, and this is my sister, Kodos. Hello.
Okay.
So I don't know what gender Kang identifies as, but at least Kodos is female.
I'm just going with the fact that they might both be female, although they're aliens as well. So
I think they just don't want to deal with
gender-
Lur.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Who wants to deal with Lur? Nobody.
No.
Not like a warm cat in your lap.
You are just snuggled up with
I am enjoying this so much.
your jacket that is made out of, I'm guessing, some kind of llama innards.
This is Woolrich, baby. It's warm.
Llama and or alpaca.
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
was gonna say tauntaun, but sure. No one. No
It's
legit, man.
It's just the Andes in jacket form.
Doesn't smell like tauntaun.
They smell bad.
Were you doing like Star Wars?
Yeah,
Like,
Han Solo.
yeah, but like why? You're not inside Swen.
But Swen is on the outside.
He's not inside you either.
He's a
You have to
sweetheart.
get in. You have to get in there
I don't
to
know
really
why
know what the horrible scent
This guy
is.
would ever bite you. Ever. He's a sweetie.
Why don't you try petting him around a couple times? Then
I
we'll
know.
see. Then we'll see.
I am well aware that you don't, push your hand into the animal and, let me drag and rip your fur off.
That's okay. Just be gentle. Just give him a
I'm
little.
not gonna bother him. He's fine. And I also learned from your dumb mistakes, so.
Wait, can I get a video of
You-
that?
You doing putting on the Ritz with Schwen?
Oh, are you?
On the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. Phenomena.
Okay. Did we decide how we want to rate this episode?
What's wrong?
Wiggums.
Why don't you like things? Yeah, we're doing the Wiggums.
Okay, yeah. So we usually do Slurmies. Since this is Simpsons, we're rating it on 1 to 5 Wiggums. Dave, do you want to go first while you've got the cat?
No.
Well, yeah, I can go first, real quick. So, yeah, I like this. I did like this crossover. I agree with Suds and Alyse about how it ended very abruptly and how it seemed like they were going to go on to another episode, like there was going to be a Futurama episode. I will mention one thing I definitely disliked. I feel like the animation with the combination of Futurama characters and Simpsons characters, the animation was kind of sloppy at some points. Like, we're used to now that the Futurama animation is very slick and done very well. So I guess either maybe the fact they hadn't been drawing them for a while, or just two different drawing companies that might have fucked it up. I don't know if they used the same Korean art studio, but that kind of, I noticed it. It came out very well to me. Other than that, I thought the story was funny. All the little jokes, the sight gags that I love, the Bender falling out of the sky and all you hear is, crap! Shit like that. The end was sweet, not crying sweet, where Homer comes down and pours a beer into Bender's head.
That was very sweet, actually.
It was very, and it definitely was them tipping their hat to their sibling show.
Their fallen brethren.
Yeah, exactly. Fallen many times and resurrected. Also, the Seymour part was terrific. As sad as everyone wants to cry when we see Seymour. I do love they just had to poke the bear a little bit. But overall, it was a really good episode. That being said, I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Wiggins.
Holy fuck. 4.5.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Alright. Like, along the same way, I'm gonna give it 4 Wiggums. For all the same reasons that Dave just said. Speaking of, like, I think we all agree that this should have been longer, or they should have at least done like a 2-part episode
at least
for this.
2-part, yeah.
I would love to see an entire other episode of just Bender and Maggie and what they did with their time together.
Yeah.
I agree.
That would be so perfect, like that character pairing. So yeah, but for this one specifically, tons of good crossover jokes and just, I don't know. They're both fucking awesome shows. So I'll give it 4 out of 5 Wiggums.
Would you like to go?
Sure. I mean, I'll piggyback off of that I thought that it seemed like they were going to make another episode. It seemed natural that there would be something following that. I love The Simpsons. I love Futurama. I like where it seemed to be going and didn't fully get there. And it's disappointing, but I don't know. I still think it's a 4. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you just about to shit all over this? Because you do that. Like,
I'm not going to shit all over
No,
it.
he's going to bitch about Lars some more.
It's great. You just want to be like...
Alright, so you guys remember that movie we did a couple weeks ago? That fucking Lars. That guy.
God. Get over it.
And then he didn't even tell him that he was fried.
Exactly.
He could have fucking told Leela.
Keep harping on
He could
about
have told
the
Leela. He
same
could have told
shit.
Fry. He could have said, "Hey, Fry, this is me in the future. You're gonna get Leela." Whatever.
We know.
Yes, you've gone over it several times now.
All right. Okay.
Just rate this episode.
Okay. It seems a little disjointed to me because there is a disconnect between if we're just talking even just strictly animation, there is a disconnect between The Simpsons and Futurama, and something like what Dave said, The Simpsons is obviously much better than it used to be when it started, but Futurama is very crisp, and seeing those different characters together, it's a little jarring to me because I like The Simpsons, but I'm not as into it as maybe you two are or Alyse are. But like Futurama, the animation is always fucking perfect. We talk about that a lot in the episodes that we review. But so it's just a little jarring to see them together. Although I like the characters being together. I think that there's a lot to like in this episode. Bender and Maggie are hilarious together. The Professor and Professor Frank. I like seeing the juxtaposition.
Did you say Professor Frank?
Oh, I thought that was the
Professor
guy.
Frank.
Frank! Oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Okay, Professor...
You can't harp on him too much because, he doesn't watch The Simpsons. Go ahead, continue.
So, Professor Frank. I like Professor Frank a lot.
Life run liven with the noises. And
Yeah. I really liked seeing, Bender and fucking Homer just, becoming friends, early on. That was pretty funny. And, I don't know. And like the sort of gags about how like the writers are lazy or the drawing people are like they're lazy. That cracked me up for sure. I think the biggest thing that suffers in this episode is the storyline, because not to say that it wasn't good, but it just sort of fizzles out. It didn't. Like we said, it just sort of ends abruptly. I would think that these two shows coming together might have. I just feel like it could have been a little bit better.
Which I have a question. Like,
yes.
It seems like there's a really easy connection between The Simpsons and Futurama as far as Hank Azaria is concerned, and he's obviously in that. And it just seems like, and maybe this is stupid, but how often is Hank Azaria in Futurama? Does he have like regular characters that he plays, or is there like much of a connection? Because I like his voice and I feel like he does a really good job being sort of a cartoony
I don't
type
think
voice.
he does any recurring characters on Futurama. He probably has like guest spots at times, but like I think he's mostly Simpsons. But he does so many voices for Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
he's
does,
on
yeah.
there. He's been on their pay fucking list forever. Like, him and there are quite a few who've been part of that show pretty consistently. I don't know if Billy West has ever done anything specifically, so I don't know if there's any crossover at all.
yeah. Hank Azaria is kind of the Billy West for The Simpsons. He just does so many different voices that he's kind of like a chameleon. You don't even realize like which one is Hank at that point.
Do we wait? I want to know which voices does Hank Azaria do?
Well, he did the scientist, like on the episode we just watched.
Okay.
He was the scientist for sure.
He's the scientist.
He does a poo, although he
mhm.
wasn't in this episode. Fuck, I don't know. That's the only one I know.
I feel like
Does
he does a lot.
Does he do Flanders? Who does Flanders?
I want to say that's Harry Shearer.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you're right. Azari does do a fuckload of voices. I don't really know about the connection.
Disco Stew. He wasn't in this. We didn't get to see Disco Stew in this episode. What the fuck?
Disco Stew.
By the way, I give this a 3.5 Wiggums.
Okay.
You are such a nerd.
Dude, I liked it, but I just feel like two of the greatest animated shows of all time.
I'm just gonna be the odd man out here. Rate it the worst possible.
It could have been a little bit better. I feel. And that is the noise that lets you know that it's time for the new segment that we're bringing to you this episode called Do You Remember This Crossover?
Is that?
Yes. All right. So, I have a website up, and this is a crossover between two amazing shows that all of us sitting around here like. And so I have the top 15 crossovers, and I'm going to ask you if you know anything about it or if you just have an opinion.
So this is one quiz show that we're going to do again. We
Yes.
did this before.
All right.
Thing.
So I think there's only one person that's going to have a response to this first one. I'm just going to say it as it is written on the website. The Arrowverse.
Okay. There are several crossovers.
Yeah, I know.
that-
I almost feel like we should just skip it.
I
But
feel
basically,
like maybe that's not a...
we should probably just skip it. But basically, it's like Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow.
Everything that's on CW
Yeah.
that is superheroes.
Yeah.
The
So-
Flash is good. All the rest of them can suck it.
Oh, I love all of them. What are you talking about?
Legends of Tomorrow is the shit.
I've never seen that or Supergirl,
It
but
is
I really
the
want
best. And Supergirl is very upbeat and hopeful, and it makes me kind of like hate it because it's like that.
Yeah.
to. What do you think about the crossover eps?
Oh, I enjoy all of them.
Okay, perfect. Next one. Let's go. Okay. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. Has
Of
anyone
course,
seen
yes.
the crossover apps?
I've seen. Yes.
Yeah, Angel sucks.
Oh,
He doesn't like Angel. I thought Angel was alright.
I hate Angel.
I like Vampire
much.
Detective Noir. That's what that was.
Well, no, because it fucks up the Buffy universe.
Sven is doing some weird shit over here.
he's probably okay. Did he get out?
Trying to get out. That's
Okay.
what he was
He's
trying to do.
probably-
Alright.
I don't like
It doesn't
Angel because
fuck up
they
the
try to
plot.
retcon a bunch of shit that fucks up the Buffy the Vampire Slayer timeline.
Buffy the Vampire was fucked up before Angel even started.
What's the next one?
The Simpsons Family.
I didn't say it wasn't good.
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that one either.
No,
don't think.
I remember when that was happening, and I was like, pass.
Okay. Oh, this one. I imagine everyone is going to have an opinion on this. CSI New York, CSI Miami, Without a Trace, Cold Case.
How can you even call that a fucking crossover? It's the same fucking show with different people and a different... It's the same show. Why would they even bother? They should just call it CSI, and then they can do different cities each episode.
We need to solve a crime. Let's do it in 40 minutes.
All right, nobody gives a fuck about CSI. How about Law and Order SVU? With everything else, we've got Detective Munch, who has appeared on every other detective show of all time.
I am not a fan, but I love Christopher Maloney. So,
So do I.
I can't wait for... I've shown you the trailer for Happy.
I've seen the trailer for Happy. Alyse, what is your opinion on Christopher Nolan?
Well, my only thing that I love him in is,
Gene.
yeah. Yeah.
The best
Wet
character.
Hot.
That's pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Elise owns a Gene.
Wet Hot American
tank
Summer.
top.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's great.
Okay. Moving on.
She's shut you down again. Holy shit.
Nobody's going to know this one. Mork and Mindy, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley.
I actually
Shaz
do
Bob.
know the Mork and Mindy. I've seen it. They used to air it on Nick at Night when I was about 12 or 10.
But did you see that crossover?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I have
Okay.
seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember it very thoroughly, but I definitely was like, what is going on here?
All right. Full House and Family Matters. And just look at this photo of
What?
Urkel and... Is that Michelle?
Oh, good lord.
Full House and Family Matters had a crossover? What, are you shitting me?
Apparently, yeah.
I want to watch it now.
Oh, jeez.
The star of Family Matters appears as the visiting cousin of a friend in a fairly typical crossover connection, and he helps Stephanie to come to terms with her new eyewear. Oh my god, fucking...
Ew, what?
God forbid somebody gets glasses. Let's have a
Well, if
crossover
they're
up to
white
let her deal
anyway.
with that.
She needs help because she's white. You know
All
what?
right.
Look, I'm gonna kind of... It was probably a bullying episode. That's what they...
Probably,
Yeah.
The 80s were just terrible.
All right,
Elise, no fucking mercy. No.
What?
You. Jeez.
All right, then we've got Friends, Mad About You, and Seinfeld. One of the biggest connections there is Lisa Kudrow's twins characters from Friends, because they were on every show.
I've never seen... No.
You've never seen Seinfeld? Cool.
I've seen
cool.
Seinfeld. I've
Don't
never
act
seen
like
the
you haven't watched
crossover.
Friends. We all know you have.
I did watch Friends.
Okay.
I remember the episode where Brad Pitt shows up. I was like, why is he on this episode?
He's on Friends?
I just saw the episode recently with Paul Rudd.
That's
on
when
Friends.
him and Aniston were still together. He plays one of her boyfriends.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Or a boyfriend to someone in the show.
Does anybody remember when Sabrina the Teenage Witch crossed over with Boy Meets World?
It was magical.
Oh, God.
I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, we need to like watch these and review them.
Yeah.
Okay, then of course number 5 is Doctor Who, Torchwood, and Class, which I never watched. Class, it got canceled. But
No, I remember they were doing something like that, but Class? That's like the most recent.
it is, yeah, but it was only one season.
Oh, okay. Alright.
How about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power.
These are the best crossovers.
Yeah, apparently.
That's way too easy, I think.
Okay, this might ring a bell. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the Jeffersons. See?
I'm not aware of this being a thing. What the hell?
Well, I don't know, but just look at this picture of Will Smith.
That
and...
can't be real. Unless the Jeffersons they were on the Fresh Prince. That's how it would have had to been.
Let's see. They were, yeah. It was on the Fresh Prince.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I think the Jeffersons ended prior to.
Oh well, the Jeffersons returned in the series finale of the Fresh Prince when Philip Banks is selling the mansion. Not only are the Jeffersons potential buyers for the home, but Mr. Drummond and Arnold from Different Strokes are also considering it, making the finale a touching 3-part crossover.
You know what show ripped that off? What is it called? The show with Charlie Sheen.
2.5 Men.
Yes, they ripped that off completely. You guys remember the television show Dharma and Greg?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Dharma and Greg show up to buy.
At the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's
No.
mansion.
They show up.
I don't want to watch that. It's so fucking bad.
They show up at
Dharma and Greg go back in time to Fresh Prince.
No, actually, that would be awesome.
To go back 6 years is all that would have to take.
And then He-Man shows up because he's having girl troubles.
She-Ra's giving him shit.
All right, Dave. I feel like this one you'll actually know about. Community and Cougar Town.
Community in Cougar Town?
Yeah.
I would have thought Scrubs in Cougar Town. Because they're both made by the same. Actually, characters from Scrubs show up in Cougar Town.
Okay, whatever. All right. Apparently,
Wait. You haven't watched Scrubs?
I've watched it.
Have you though?
I didn't really care for it because it makes me too sad.
Well, yeah, it's sad, but it's so good.
I know, but I couldn't watch it. It
It's not a sad show. It's a dumb, goofy show.
It makes
It
me
is
too sad.
goofy. There are sad episodes, but mostly it's goofy.
Yeah, and if you watch it enough, you start to hear they use the same medical terms. Like within every, like they'll say, was it?
We need to get the ass funnel out here.
Yeah, well, more or less.
Well, like in House, where they're just like everything's lupus.
I knew you were
Yeah,
going to mention
yeah.
House.
That they
lupus.
just like change it.
She's obsessed with House. We can't have a conversation without her.
Without
mentioning
House coming up.
You, that's not even real.
All right, the number one crossover of all time:
Am I going to be surprised about this?
Power Rangers in Space and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wait, what?
Yeah, alright. So,
I could have found a better website.
We
probably.
are-
Power Rangers in space. What the fuck?
we are ending on a high note here.
What the fuck is this shit? I was 100% confident it was going to be The Simpsons and The Critic.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
It
yeah.
stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks.
I love
Yes,
it.
Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
I love The Critic. I was just have you listened to Lauren Lapkus's and John Gabrus's new podcast, Raised by TV?
I haven't yet.
Fuck. Well, they were talking about The Critic. It's a great podcast.
I started picking up Jack O'Brien from Crack.com's
Okay.
new podcast, The Daily Zeitgeist, which is really fucking good. And I know they don't need me on our no listener podcast to plug it, but The Daily Zeitgeist is fucking awesome.
Okay.
Oh, we're helping other podcasters out even when people don't listen to us. Might as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at the end of the show. We gave our Wiggums.
Wiggums.
It's
I
just
know
a
we're
weird
still
word to
recording.
say. Yeah. No, we haven't stopped. But as always, thank you for listening. We will be back with the last movie if I don't hang myself with the shower curtain.
It seems like a very, just buy a rope.
Yeah.
No, who has money?
I mean, you're not gonna need it anymore.
That's true. I'm not going to need it anymore.
Wait, have we read this email?
Oh, the Carlton one about the static?
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't. But you can go ahead and...
All right.
We
so
have
this
an
is-
email
this
from
is
one of our
This is
listeners.
Carlton, you say?
Yeah.
Oakwood guy.
Is that what it?
What I don't even know what he's talking about here. I'll just read it. I never complained about the screen door. I even enjoyed the Bohemian Rhapsody sing-along and the occasional close-talking drunken hobo. Isn't Dave the prestigious computer owner of the group, the
I
tech
feel
guy
like
for the
he's
podcast?
confused.
What about James? With a name like Suds, I imagine tech skills, including tapping a keg and casually vomiting into a liquor store brown paper sack. Give us less static, and I'll give you guys less static. Wait, my phone shut off. Give us less static, and I'll give you guys less static, but probably continue roasting Suds. Love you guys podcast. Yes, I've heard every episode, Carlton.
Please do continue roasting Suds.
All right, first of all, the screen door, he's actually talking about the door at Shady's.
Oh, okay, I see.
I don't know why he was thinking that was screen. That is not
The
a scary
scary
door. Yeah, that is the scary door.
You never know what shiftless hobo is going to wander in through there.
And he's well aware of the Shady's moment crackheads
Yeah.
who like to talk to us when we record there.
Okay.
As for the Bohemian Rhapsody sing-along, you know what? That
was-
happened in the background. We were recording.
It had to have been Jim.
It was Big Jim and a bunch of his friends, and they were like, "Oh, remember Joe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was there because he
Okay.
walked over towards us, and I was like, "No, we're doing," and he turned around and walked away.
He hasn't been around much since he voted for Donald Trump.
No,
Yeah.
he is not.
He tried to defend that to me. What an asshole.
Did he really?
I think his girlfriend was not happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was very angry.
I think America is not happy about that.
Yeah, well, I'm just going with his closest.
You remember when this country didn't suck?
I don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, thank you for listening, as always. You can follow me on Instagram at DeadWolfsHow.
Follow me on Twitter at Gorilla Karate.
Mike Suds on the internet all over the place.
On the internet, all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing. People that know me just know where to follow me.
She's not going to share anything.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
No.
I'm sure.
We're really open. Find me on Pornhub.
I'm just going to end on that note. Thank you very much.
Off you go, apparently.